What's up, guys? It's Missy. I'm back with another SimCity Build It video. This one's going to be a little bit short, but I promised that I would show you guys what I did to my city. I have kind of showed you in some of my videos that I released in the last day or two, but I never actually made a video about it. If you have not already, please hit that like and subscribe button. And I know I say this in every video, but hit the like and subscribe button. All right. Now, the other day I had mentioned that I was going to add another river or body of water or whatever into my city. And if you guys have seen my city many times in my videos before, you guys know that I have this main body of water as my my waterfront, my main display. Now, the river that goes up to the left on this side towards the mountain, that used to be all Omega homes, and I bulldozed them and put in this river. Okay. Then I went and I added this area over here. This never used to be here. And let me just a sec here, you guys. Okay. Now, my body of water where that boat is just above this building, there's a kind of like a circled body of water, like a lake here. And then I put the homes around it, and it stopped there. And this entire area here was 100% houses. There was no water. Okay. It only went to about here with the water. Now, I had an idea and I said, okay, you know what? I'm going to add a third river because I have the one that goes to the left up by the mountain, the one that goes dead center, and now the one to the right. Now, to me, when you look at my city, and of course it went dark again. When you look at my city, to me, it looked like this area here is kind of like an L shape. And the water went around it and it made it look like an island, basically. So I thought, okay, that's kind of cool. So I looked over to the left side of my city and the island was very large. And it looked kind of odd to me. Because of all the tall epic buildings that were hideous, I was unable to show off a lot of my buildings if I was to put those homes forward, so I had to leave them along the back side. So I had the idea to bulldoze several gold epics because I hate the look of them and I wanted to replace them with shorter buildings like mountain epics. Now, I had been contemplating doing this for a very long time, and I really did not want to bulldoze any gold epics because we all know how hard they are to get. And they were buildings that I had earned back when I didn't know what I was doing, basically. And so I put a lot of work into them damn buildings. And I'm not kidding you guys. I bulldozed like 50 or 60 gold epics. No joke. Brought a tear to my heart. Okay? But the overall, I'll replace them. The overall goal was to make my city look better. And to be honest, I've been dinking around with it for the last couple of days. I'm just kind of talking until the damn city can get bright again. But basically, I still have some work to do. I want to add some, basically what I do and what I suggest you guys do, this is a kind of like a design tips video, is I know what this side looks like, okay? I know what it looks like with all of the mountain epics. So, in order for me to envision or fix the area that I'm working on, I'm taking homes from the area that I know what it looks like, and I'm replacing it up there so I can replace those at any time. I already know what that looks like. I already have that all planned out. So I'm leaving this side undone. And then I went and I moved everything up to the top left corner. Now, it took me a while to kind of sort through everything. And my map's getting bright enough now I can show you guys. So what I did was I added a, if you guys look back at my city before, I've made a lot of changes here. So I've kind of islanded off this area here, and I started to think I was going to put all the mountain epics back and then bring these castles forward and make like another waterfront, but that didn't work out too well. So I had to stop and I had to move everything back. And of course, by then I had bulldozed all my Omega roads. So I lost millions of dollars. No joke. I lost millions in coins just from that one fuck up. Okay. So I decided that it didn't look good, and this is a design tip that I have for you guys. If you haven't noticed, in my city, I put a lot of work into my city, and there's things about it and design tips that I don't really, that I've never really, I guess, released or said, and I'm going to kind of try to explain them, okay? So what I do is I try, let's say I'm putting a bridge somewhere. I will try every type of bridge, and I will pick which one I like the most, right? Now, let's say I'm putting a building somewhere. For example, this took me like 3 hours the other night. This building right here, this Sims nightclub. I must have traded out that damn area 900 times just trying to get a building that looked nice, okay? I don't want one that's too tall, and I don't want one that's facing the wrong direction. Now, the reason that I put the building behind it there is because it's kind of a two-way building, meaning I can look at it either way and it doesn't face the wrong direction, right? So now when I put something in front of this building, like this little egg thing here, I have to pick a building that's short enough so I can see that club, that Sims club, nightclub thing. If I was to pick like a tall, like something like the Gnome Park or whatever, it would be too tall and I wouldn't see anything. Now, this is an issue you're going to have a lot, especially if you're as picky as I am. When you are trying to make your city look good, you don't want stuff to block the view. Now, for example, and this happens all the time, you guys. For example, this right here. Why did I choose these two parks in front of this building? So I could see it, right? Or, let's see, another example. The Maxis Man. I put him here because you can still see the building behind it, right? Now, I put a house between those two castles, and you can't see anything behind this house here. That's why I chose to put a yellow tree there, because that yellow tree is actually visible, whereas if I were to put a green tree or a piece of water, it would just blend so much you wouldn't even notice it. So I added a little bit of color. I'm telling you guys, I put a lot of thought into this shit, man. So right here, I had these trees right here. I had several trees in this area. Well, I decided, well, you know, you can't really see the water with that many trees there, right? So it just kind of looked odd. So what I did was I took out 2 trees right there in the center and I extended the water forward. And that way you can actually tell that there's water there. Because what ended up happening is when I had all the trees is that the water was only visible if you went like this. So it didn't look good. And I wanted it to be very noticeable that it was actually an island, right? Now, this is the same example here. Okay, this Swan Lake boat park thing. I wanted it to look like the water had met up right there. Now, if I would have put a building, for example, like the Sims nightclub there, like I had originally, or a home, it wouldn't have looked like the water met up. So I put a building there or a park there that had water in it to make it look like the river was actually flowing, right? It would look really stupid if I put a building there. Now, keep in mind, now I have to figure out what I'm going to put in front of this building. Because if I put a house in front of this building, you're not going to see the swans. So it would defeat the entire purpose. So I had to put another building that was short, which is why I chose this Western Springs thing, that also had some water in it. And that way it kind of blended. So I'm telling you guys, I put a lot of thought into this shit. So you got to think like that. Now, when I put this, these floating lanterns, I put them in specific locations because you can see him right through the 2 buildings here, and it allows the floating lanterns to kind of float over the water, right? Now, over here, as you can tell, I've had some issues over here, and I've been moving shit around like crazy, you guys. But the Ferris wheel, I had this forward, and I swapped out this one and this one. Now, the Ferris wheel was forward, and it was blocking the view. So I had to put the Ferris wheel back, right? Now, anytime you have road, you want to take advantage of the roadway to place anything that requires a street. For example, see how I put the pink parks, the little pink trees along the roadside? and didn't just put regular trees, that's because I have the ability to do so. If you have animals or trees or water, then utilize that to, you can put those anywhere. You don't need a road for those. So pull those forward and put buildings in their place, basically. Now, this red heart thing here has caused me a lot of problems because I want it there, but when I put it on this side, it blocks the bridge, right? And when I put it in the center, it blocks the Maxis Man. If I put it here, then it blocks the building that I put in its place. So I've left it where it is, but I don't know if it's going to remain there. I did put a little spinning egg kind of thing there to kind of accent it off. Now, over here, I thought about putting the Maxis Man down here next to the guy that's fighting. The only reason I haven't is because of that stupid sports store is kind of in the way of everything at the moment. So you guys, I'm giving you guys some design tips, like ways. This is just my thought process, the way I think, the way I design. If you've seen my city and you think it looks nice, or you like the style of what I make, then I'm just giving you guys my thought processes. So hopefully you can kind of go, okay, I see where she's getting at, Now, another thing you want to take into consideration when placing bridges is that they look completely different horizontally versus vertically. Now, as you can tell, I had mentioned this in my other video. I have the plumb bob bridge here, and I've traded it out with every other type of bridge, and it looks horrendous. So I've kept the plumb bob bridge there. Now, my personal opinion is that the suspension bridges look better at the horizontal view than the vertical view. So I try to keep those at a horizontal view. They are at a vertical view over here because they look nicer than any of the other bridges at the moment. If I put a cobblestone bridge that is that long and straight, they look really tacky. I recommend that you, the sheep park is not staying here. It's just out, just for fun. It's just going to be houses, basically, is what's going to go there. This here doesn't really do any, pop boost or anything. It's just there for looks or whatever for now. I don't know if it's going to stay there or not. Now, this area here, okay? So I have this thing, which is very oddly shaped, which kind of makes it a little bit of a hassle. So when I did the two plumb bob parks, I accented off the one that's on the top of this building. Same with this building. I did 1, 2, okay? Now, as you can tell, the building that's in front of it, this little park here, I put that there because anything else would have been too tall and it would have blocked off the view, right? If you notice, everything in my everything in my city is facing you, facing one direction. And there's a reason for that. It looks nice. It looks like shit when you guys have your stuff facing all different directions. Now, I chose to put the Swan Park right in front of the educational building because it would have blocked the view, okay? Same with this bush right here, this heart Cupid thing. That thing is very oddly designed, and you will notice with some buildings that when you try to place them a certain direction, that for whatever reason, the game only allows you to put it a certain way. So I put that facing me, as you can tell. Now, this one over here is not facing me, but it's facing the little Cupid guy that's shooting the arrow, which would make sense, right? Because he's shooting the bush. This thing here goes all different directions. I placed it on the side because, it can go all different directions, and it looked nice there. Now, this suspension bridge, if you take a good look at the buildings along the back, see how they have the lines through them? I kind of matched that up with, that's why that one is different than all the others, because it kind of matches. Now, I might change that out eventually. I don't know. We'll see. Honestly, if they come up with some better bridges, that would be really nice, to be honest with you. Now, I am going to add a third waterfall as soon as I get the other 7 plat keys. And I'm going to add more mountain epics over here. So over here, I had to do, I did the shorter type, buildings. Now what I could do, and I've always done that, I've done this several times before, is I've rotated this centerpiece out many times. I'll use this, or I'll use this castle here. But so far, the best one has been this one. This one looks the best. I've also thought about rotating out the castles that sit side by side. And I just recently, within the last year or so, added these to each area. And as soon as I unlock my last regional map, I'm going to go through and I'm going to, you see all these trees that are around my city? Now you'll notice that I have yellow trees every so many trees. It kind of accents off. You will also notice that the weeping willow trees, which you unlock in the Green Valley map, they are mostly alongside my water. And the reason for that is because when you place certain trees along the water, the way that it looks when you place it, it looks like shit. So okay, perfect example. And then I got to end this video. This tree here, right there, that little yellow one, it looks terrible alongside the water versus see how these kind of popcorn out and they hang over the edge. It blends and it looks nicer. Now, when I unlock Limestone Cliff, I'm going to go through and pull some of the trees that I have and kind of mix them in with the bunch, which is going to make my city look 100 times different. And probably going to take me like 12 hours to get all picky with it. Now, I am going to actually make a design video, so be sure to check that out. I do have to end this, unfortunately. So if you haven't already, hit that like and subscribe button and stay tuned for my design tips video.